That should be easy. That should be easy. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong.
Dunn was in Green Bay Wednesday, speaking at the Greater Green Bay Labor Council and encouraging people to get involved in democracy locally. Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Janet Protasiewicz has denied a request to recuse herself from the case challenging the constitutionality of Act 10. Justice Protasiewicz had previously expressed her belief that Act 10 was unconstitutional while she was campaigning for the seat back in 2023. However, she says she can act impartially in this case. Conservative Justice Brian Hagedorn did recuse himself from the case after helping former Governor Scott Walker write the law. A Dane County ruling found that Act 10 violated equal protection guarantees for public employees. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin State Supreme Court has declined to hear the case about the anti-union law. For now, the court's decision means the case that seeks to restore collective bargaining rights to teachers and nurses and other public workers will have to go through the lower appeals court before it's considered by the state Supreme Court. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News.
The Bucks pull out the win in Minnesota. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. It went down to the wire. The Bucks holding on to win 103-101 over the Timberwolves. Doc Rivers challenged the Bucks defensively before the game to hold Minnesota to 100 points or less.
You know, it's funny. We set a goal and we didn't get it, but our goal was to hold them under 100. And they got 101. That's why the guys were like, no, that was a goal for us going into the game. We knew scoring, but the offense that we had out would be rough. But we thought we could really win the game with a defensive effort, and that's what we did.
So Milwaukee heads into the All-Star break in 5th place in the East with a record of 29-24. Baseball, the Brewers signing Tampa Bay Rays lefty Tyler Alexander to a one-year deal worth over $1 million. Meanwhile, Brandon Woodruff says he is on schedule to return from Tommy John surgery.
Listen, I'm healthy. I'm coming into camp healthy. I just have to take different steps than everybody else. And when I'm ready, I'll be ready.
That's Brewers pitcher Brandon Woodruff. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight, cold, a low of 5 below. For tomorrow, a cloudy sky with snow showers developing in the afternoon, continuing into Saturday afternoon. Accumulations of 4 to 7 inches, winter weather advisories in effect. Currently, it's 12 degrees.
Nerds, it's time!
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Night Light with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who still likes to build a fort, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Night Light, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing tonight, Wisconsin? Great to have you with me on this Thursday night. Conrad, what is Thursday night again?
It is the Christmas Eve of weekdays.
How right you are.
Yeah.
So, Merry Christmas, everybody. Great to have you here on Night Light. We are broadcasting statewide over our beautiful cold state tonight from beautiful downtown Green Bay. And the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen, are open. You are welcome to share anything you'd like with us throughout the course of the show. Always more fun when you guys participate in the tomfoolery that we have going here every night from 6 to 8. So we have a good show tonight. It's great that you're here. We have a great show tonight and tomorrow night. We sort of have packed the show with nothing but fun. And you know what? What are we doing here? That's what we're here for, right? We're trying to get you to escape your day, have some fun showbiz talk, some entertainment talk, and ease into the rest of the night here on the Christmas Eve of weekdays. Tonight, folks, it is our popcorn pick of the week. It's Thursday. That means we do that every week. And tonight, making the popcorn pick of the week, giving his pick, is none other than Main Street's host, John McGivern. He will be here at 6:35. John is a public television rock star. I want to say his last show was the most watched PBS show, I think, ever. And it was only on in like 3 or 4 states. That's how many people found this show and love it. And now he's branching off into even more states with his new show, Main Streets. And we will talk with John a little bit about that as well after he gives us his popcorn pick of the week. We'll talk about the launching of Season 4 of Main Streets. Very excited to talk to John about that. I had the opportunity to be a guest on his previous show, which was called Around the Corner, when they came to Marinette. And that was a lot of fun welcoming John into my house. And he made fun of me, and I gave it right back to him, and he was okay with that. We had an instant friendship. John's great. And then at 7:20, all the way from down the street here in Green Bay, Nick Wattier will be here talking about a really fun event at next month's Green Bay Film Festival. They're having an event to honor, I think it's the 50th anniversary of the film The Giant Spider Invasion, and Bill Rebane will be there as well here at the, I think it's the Tarleton, if I'm not mistaken. That's where they do their venues for the Green Bay Film Festival. So Nick's been on the show before. He's always fun to talk about. The Green Bay Film Festival is a really, really cool festival, and I love the way they do it. They don't do it all at once like many film festivals where it's just 1 week of craziness. That's fun too, but they space it out. They do like one event a month, and it works for them. So good for him. Nick will be here. We'll talk to Nick about what they have coming up. It'll be great fun as always. Conrad, how you doing tonight, buddy?
You know, I'm doing good. I'm a little tired. I was on Mino and the Mayor this morning. Well, I wasn't on it. I was behind the scenes in Green Bay while they were having fun in Oshkosh.
That is a much less salacious way to say that than you were on Mino and the Mayor.
Yes.
So you were here. They were in Oshkosh?
Yeah, I'm just here sending out the signal so everyone can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get yourself a big old coffee maybe and just kind of kick back?
I had a little too much caffeine, I think, this morning. I was off the walls.
And it was just you here?
And then I hit a crash.
Oh no!
Around midday, I took a great nap.
Are you close enough where you can go home to take a nap?
So I was here until around 9, and then I go right, just a block down to the Y down there.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I work out. So I went there, and then after that, I was like, it's nap time. Went home.
There you go. All right. It's nice that you live close enough like that.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's only about 13 minutes.
It's only about 13 minutes.
It's only
about 13 minutes, 19 seconds or so, give or take.
I don't know the exact time, but, it's around there.
Depending on if I hit the lights. It took me an hour and 40 minutes to drive home last night in that slop.
Oh, that was... So, I got those all-season tires,
Yeah.
And the guy who I got them from in Appleton was like, these are going to be great in winter. They're going to do everything you need. I was sliding every single time. I didn't even barely touch the gas. My wheels just kept spinning.
Really? In town?
Yep, in town, yep.
We had a convoy of and I talked about this last night in the air on my way down, how I got stuck behind a snowplow because they take up like a lane and a half.
Yeah.
And last night there was like 5 cars, and I'm like, all right, this is O'Connell County. When we hit Marinette County, it'll probably turn, but nobody wanted to pass them. It was like we were all doing like 30 miles an hour. It was maddening.
On the highway?
On the highway, on 41, yeah. Pardon me. So there you go. But much better tonight, and they got the roads cleared, and it's fantastic. So now we just sit back and wait for even more snow this weekend. Should be fun.
Can't wait.
Yeah, speaking of Groundhog Day. So I saw this. This cracked me up. You know what? Let's do our question first. Let's get this out of the way, because tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, is a very romantic night. One of the most romantic nights of our year. Would you agree with that, Conrad? I don't think I'm going out on a limb here.
It's very romantic.
Yeah. It's no sweetest day, but it is Valentine's Day, and it's happening tomorrow night. And that leads us to our question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Questions.
What are your Valentine's Day plans? Now, I want to sort of set this up a little more. If you don't have a special girl or a special guy, that's fine. It's still a day you should kind of lose yourself in you, though. Like, what are you going to do? It's Valentine's Day. Treat yourself. Order some good food. Buy yourself some flowers. If you're alone, that's fine, too. If you're a couple with someone, you can tell us what your plans are. I want to know what everybody's Valentine's Day plans are. And I don't think it's any coincidence that today is National Condom Day, right before Valentine's Day. So go out and pick up a boatload just in case. You never know.
Not just national, it's international.
Oh, is it international?
It's International Condom Day.
Oh, no. Oh, I kind of messed that up, didn't I?
So
I don't
everywhere,
want to give people the wrong...
everywhere
man.
celebrates condoms today.
Yeah, so if you're listening in Sri Lanka right now, get out there, get yourself some condoms. It's let's celebrate this all over the place. But it is Valentine's Day, so tell us your plans. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. I'll be honest, I mean, I'm married, and my wife tolerates me, but I still will probably go home tomorrow night after the show, kick my feet up and watch a movie or some color television, maybe make some popcorn, something like that, and then we'll probably celebrate on the weekends. But I don't have huge plans tomorrow night. But what are your plans? Let us know on the stream, too, or the app. If you've got the app, it's very easy to use. Just click on the little text icon next to whatever station you're listening to, and let us know your Valentine's Day plans. Conrad, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to produce Nightly with Pete Schwaba from 6 to 8 p.m.
All right. Very romantic.
Do you see what other day it is today? It is World Radio Day.
Oh, yeah. And that's significant because...
Well, we're on the radio.
You know what I'm going to do just to celebrate tomorrow? This might be too much information, folks. I'm going to wear a condom throughout tomorrow night's show just to celebrate both days because I feel like radio, condoms, they kind of go hand in hand. It's also get a different name day. I'm not going to do that. I like my name.
There's not a name you ever wanted?
Not that I'm not embarrassed about now, like when I was a kid, you know.
When I was younger, I thought my name sucked. So I was like, why couldn't you name me like Brent or something?
Brent. There you go. That's a dude's name. No, I will. At this point, I'm keeping my name. There's no point in changing it, but I'll be wearing a condom tomorrow night throughout the show.
That's like Glenn Morshower, what he does. You know, that's your way of, keeping the focus off the radio.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be wearing a condom so I won't be focused too much. Or as Glenn said last night, I know something you don't. That's what he would do in the meetings, why he put syrup in his shoes or a piece of bologna in his underpants. So that was a lot of information, and I feel like I feel like I have a bond now with Glenn that I did not have before last night's show. I had a great text exchange today with Glenn, though. Very good guy, and he was a really fun guest to have. So we'll definitely... In fact, he said in his text today, he said, while I was making funny faces last night on the radio, I could have been talking about a new movie I have coming out that's the best work I've ever done. So I love that he forgot about that and lost himself in the show. But we'll have Glenn back on to talk about his new movie coming out soon. So this cracked me up. Just in time for Valentine's Day, folks. I think this is just terrible news. Kanye West and Bianca Censori are most likely splitting up. And, I mean, the divorce rate is very high, but I feel like if they can't make it work, who can?
Is it something to do with what she wore at the Grammys?
Well, maybe she finally had enough.
Well, have you seen all of his tweets?
Yeah, he's out of his mind. I mean,
And Elon Musk just lets all those tweets just go.
Yeah.
It's some of
he's got a very nice platform there on Twitter.
I've seen. It's crazy.
It's awful, and it's funny because it's Twitter. It's a privately held company. He can do whatever he wants, but people there are so wrapped up in free speech. It's like you don't really have free speech when it comes to a private company. They have their own expectations, but for Elon Musk, he really has none. Except as long as you say crazy stuff, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
or give the Nazi salute. Yeah, that hit home, though. I thought if Kanye and Bianca can't make a go of it, who can? Maybe we're just not supposed to be together for our entire lives. I mean, I thought they had something special. I was wrong. She has something special that we've all seen. But Kanye's crazy. I mean, what? Apparently now there are lip readers, and they say people could see him saying, "Drop the coat now." And I mean, it's so weird. She really did look like she was in a hostage situation.
She did. Yes, she did.
And he apparently, I don't want to make light of it. I think he probably struggles with mental illness. Obviously, I think that's been made public. But at some point, yeah, you got to call quits on that marriage.
Do you think he's going to get someone else who looks like even more like Kim Kardashian next?
You know what? Maybe he can get Kim Kardashian next. Did you see she came out, Kim Kardashian, her cluelessness is just incredible to me. She said on the Kardashians the other night, and I just read about this, she said she couldn't believe she got booed at the Tom Brady roast. She's like, they booed me. I'm like, do you watch your show?
I don't think she watches it back. You know?
She's booable.
Yeah.
Like, epic proportions. She said she'd never do a roast again because they're not good for the soul. And she never imagined she would get booed. And then they edited him out. Like, how fragile are you? Don't get me started. Too late. All right. I don't care, though. You know what? I'm happy because John McGivern is here at 6:35 to do the popcorn pick. Tomorrow night's Valentine's Day. It's a wonderful couple days at Nite Lite here, folks, and I am so glad you're here with me tonight. We're coming right back. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Don't you forget, it's my love. It never ends.
From Hobart to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
Hey, it's me time at Chula Vista. Time for you to pamper yourself. Wisconsin's most complete resort experience has everything you want. Fine-tuned for 70 years by 4 generations of the Kaminsky family, Chula Vista can be easygoing with colorful scenic river walks, 18 holes of classic golf, a relaxing spa, or you can go all out in 80,000 square feet of indoor water park. Ziplining through canyon views in Chula's Aerial Adventure Park. And dining comes any way you like it, from pizza to Wisconsin's #1 ranked steakhouse. More than 600 guest rooms to choose from, with $10 million in updates. Chula Vista, everything you've been wanting, all right here on site. Check it out at chulavistaresort.com.
Miles and miles of freshly groomed cross-country and hiking trail.
I get so lost sometimes.
Peter Gabriel's birthday today. That's one of my all-time favorite songs. I love In Your Eyes. Happy birthday to Peter Gabriel. I don't even remember. I think he was like 76. Did it say? Oh, we don't have it on the sheet. All right.
So he turned 76, or
I don't know. I'm trying to. He's still putting out new music, though.
Oh,
Here, I'll
well,
find it.
that's cool. Yeah.
Guy's a gamer.
75.
75. He's got to be older than that.
It says February 13th, 1950 he was born.
I see that, but yeah, that surprises me. Okay. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's good to have him in the world. He makes beautiful music, and happy birthday, Peter Gabriel. So this Kanye stuff, it's like the world is falling apart, folks. Kanye West and Bianca are getting divorced, it looks like. And the announcement comes right before Valentine's Day on National Condom Day. A conspiracy theorist might look at this and connect the dots. And I'm sure they are right now. I'm sure there'll be some new thing we hear that all the lunatics will be buying into. Did you see this picture of Zoe Saldana and her 3 boys? I put it on the show sheet. If you could put that on the stream, Conrad, I just think it's hilarious. She has 3 sons, all within like 4 years of each other. They're like from 6 to 10 in ages, and they all look exactly like her. Which is crazy. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I don't know if that's good, though, for 3 young boys to look exactly like their mother. And they have long hair like her, too, which is insane. So that kind of cracked me up. I don't know that I would feel bad if my kids looked exactly like me. I would want them to aim higher when it comes to their looks. But I realize they have no control over it, really. And then did you see this Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce thing? Chiefs fans are really upset. Apparently, they went out to eat with Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes, a double date, like 48 hours before the Super Bowl, and Chiefs fans got wind of it, and they are not happy. They're saying the 2 perennial All-Pros did not take the game seriously, and they shouldn't have been out having cheeseburgers 48 hours before the Super Bowl on a double date. What is the matter with people?
You know, honestly, it didn't. I didn't hear anything about that, but it didn't look like they took the game serious. But
because of that?
No, not because of that.
They played like crap, yeah, but
Yeah.
a lot of that could have to do with the Eagles. And yeah, it's just hilarious to me. Like, they're truly blaming this double date. Like, they've got to eat. Do you not think people eat within 72 hours of the Super Bowl? There we go. All right. If you're watching on the stream, folks, we've got Zoe Saldana up and the picture of her 3 sons who look exactly like Zoe Saldana. They look like they could be in the Lioness program.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to judge, but I want, if your 3 sons look exactly like you, a beautiful woman, maybe you just, at least in the formative years, cut their hair. Do something to differentiate them physically from their mother. But you know what? They're Hollywood kids. They don't care. They're not on the playground here in Green Bay or in Milwaukee hanging out. They probably go to some rich school, you know, where you get away with stuff like that. You probably have names like Will Smith named his kids. What are his kids? Or Nick Cannon's kids? Like they have names like that. Or
I don't even
Elon
remember.
Musk's kids.
I can't remember those. Those were too outrageous.
They're completely outrageous. They make no sense on any level. We also, folks, I obtained some information, an audio tape of the Philadelphia City Council planning the Super Bowl parade in Philadelphia. And we're going to be premiering that on Nightlight. Maybe tomorrow, possibly Monday, we'll have that. It's a meeting. It's pandemonium, trying to do their best to juggle Philly sports fans and keep them, you know, just kind of keep a harness on them, so to speak, because they're pretty crazy. The amount of puking and public urinating and fighting, like, why would you ever go to a sports parade in Philadelphia? And if you do, you should expect one of those things to happen to you. Someone's going to pee on you. You're going to go home with vomit on your clothes.
You might get your hat taken off from your head.
You might get your hat taken. You might have a fan in your face because you don't like their sports team. But you might just get randomly sucker punched. It sounds like a miserable experience.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but we've got some audio, and I've got my top secret source delivering it to us as we speak. So it will either be here tomorrow or Monday. Oh man, it's tough. You put yourself out there because you want to break a big story, and we will be debuting that on Nightlight in the very near future. You won't want to miss that. All right, our question tonight is, what are your Valentine's Day plans? Valentine's Day is tomorrow night. Whether you have a special someone or not, make it a great day. How are you going to celebrate? That's our question tonight. What are your Valentine's Day plans? And as I mentioned, today is also International Condom Day. So, I don't want to get too personal here, Conrad, but are you like one of those guys that keeps a condom on hand just in case?
No.
You got to like run to the gas station and break up that moment?
If you're saying, like, I don't keep it in my wallet. Like,
yeah.
But I don't do that.
Okay. But in your nightstand, I would imagine you have a healthy supply.
I think we're getting too personal here, Pete. It's not my nightstand.
I just want everybody listening to know, I don't ever expect Conrad to answer honestly. I wouldn't. So
I keep them in like a piggy bank.
A piggy bank? Oh, that's cute.
And every time I get one, I just throw it in there, So I just keep saving.
I'll take ways to make sex even weirder, Alex, for $500. Susan from McFarland says, since it's National Condom Day, maybe the President of the United States, or should I say Eli, and the Musk condoms today all over the world, and Air Force One. You know what, Susan? Nothing would surprise me. You might be onto something there. Terry from Wausau says, I quit smoking recently, and I have to give my wife credit helping me to quit. You see, I always enjoyed a cigarette after we had sex. Then he says, fix this joke. I have nothing to add to that, Terry. So maybe, all right, you don't smoke anymore. After sex with the wife, have a nice milkshake. Get yourself a hot chocolate. Maybe some lamb chops. I don't know. And then Brian in Green Bay says, VD plan, washing my Mino in the mayor mug. Oh, that sounds like fun. All right, folks. John McGiver's coming up next to make the popcorn pick of the week.
They return the grand facade so soon will burn without a noise, without my pride. I reach out from the inside.
97.9 WGBW and WGBW.FM. Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Governor Tony Evers is touring the state visiting Head Start childcare providers. Melissa Kay has the story.
On Wednesday, the governor visited locations in La Crosse, New Richmond, and Wisconsin Rapids. These visits highlight the Year of the Kid and the Evers administration's efforts to keep costs down for working families. Evers said Wisconsin's economy is strong because so many parents are able to stay in the workforce. Head Start programs are possible in part because of federal funds.
If Congress decides not to do Head Start, there's nothing we could do to kind of correct that mistake. That's a 60-year-old federal program. I just don't think the state could do any more than what I'm hoping they're going to do in this next legislative session.
The 2025-27 executive budget will include ongoing funding to make the Child Care Counts program permanent. This includes investing over $500 million aimed at lowering child care costs, supporting this critical industry, and investing in employer-sponsored child care. The lack of federal funding would have disastrous consequences for states and critical programs that support kids, families, and communities in Wisconsin.
It would be an unbelievable shame if the president decides, we're done with this, moms and dads can take care of it. That would be horrible.
Governor Evers said Democratic legislators are in favor of funding child care, and he's hoping they can work in a bipartisan manner.
We worked in a bipartisan way. Hopefully, child care counts will be one of those this time.
He said they just need a handful of people to understand how important child care is for our kids, our working families, and our economy.
Evers is announcing his 2025-27 executive budget next week. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Although it's been nominated for Best Picture and several other awards, there was a point when Timothée Chalamet thought A Complete Unknown would never get made. The Bob Dylan biopic was announced by director James Mangold in 2020, but was shelved due to COVID. It eventually found its way to the big screen 5 years later. Chalamet said that gave him time to learn how to play the guitar and to sing. That might just be what puts him over the top in the race for Best Actor as well. Stand by. In an age where it can take years just for a TV show to get renewed, that is not the case with the show Reacher. The popular streamer returns for Season 3 February 20th, barely 1 year from the debut of Season 2. Reacher fans appreciate the aggressive shooting schedule, I'm sure. 8 new episodes will drop one at a time, sigh, on Amazon Prime. I saw the trailer for the new season the other night, and somehow they found a man bigger than Alan Ritchson to be his nemesis. Hope it's better than Season 2. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba. Weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight, cold, a low of 5 below. For tomorrow, a cloudy sky with snow showers developing in the afternoon, continuing into Saturday afternoon. Accumulations of 4 to 7 inches, winter weather advisories in effect. Currently, it's 10 above.
The 2025 draft is almost here, bringing in guests from around the world for this once-in-a-lifetime event. Ready to turn your home into a revenue powerhouse? Simple Life Hospitality makes it easy to rent your home and provides expert, locally managed care, backed by over 50 years of experience. All guests are fully vetted for your peace of mind, so don't miss out. Partner with Simple Life Hospitality today. Visit simpleliferentals.com and make the most of this unforgettable event. That's simpleliferentals.com.
The Dom Salvia Show.
Inflation has to go down. How would you suggest your president address that? He's not talking about the cost for Americans. Hell, everything he's doing seems to going to increase the cost for Americans, starting with trade wars with Canada and Mexico. So if there is something positive out of this administration, let me know what it is. I would absolutely give credit where credit is due if I see it.
The Dom Salvia Show. Weekdays from 4 till 6 on the Civic Media Radio Network and on the Civic Media app.
Pay for the person behind you. Give a compliment. Random acts of kindness.
Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday night. It is 6:35. And you know what that means. Conrad, do you know what that means? All right, before I introduce our next
It's
guest,
time for the
there you
Night
go.
Light Popcorn Pick of the Week, where we recommend a movie that you'll either enjoy or won't. Here's your host, Pete Schwaba.
There we go. I couldn't launch into the popcorn pick of the week until I heard the whole schmear, the whole production. Welcome back, folks. We are broadcasting live statewide from beautiful downtown Green Bay. Great to have you with me on this Thursday, the Christmas Eve of weekdays, and it's a popcorn pick of the week. And it's even more special because my old pal, my old acquaintance, no, he's a pal. John McGivern is here joining us now on Nightlight for the second time. John, how are you?
Hey, Pete, how are you?
Good. Great to have you, buddy.
Good to see you.
You as well. This is really fun because, you know, like I said, I don't know you well, but every time I've been around you, you just kind of, you have this great energy. And I knew that you would be perfect for this because I assume you love movies.
Sure.
And, a good movie snack to go with it. So I thought this was a perfect segment to have you on. How are you?
I'm good. Things are good. It's a really quiet time for me. So I don't mean today. I mean this time of year. So I'm up for like I got the email. It's like, sure, I'll come on today, tomorrow, whenever you need me, Pete.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Before we get into some really cool stuff happening with Main Street and season 4 and all that kind of stuff, let's knock out this popcorn stuff. So what kind of movies typically does John McGivern like? Do you have a favorite genre, John?
No, I'll sit down and watch anything. In fact, we were at the movies yesterday, my partner Steve and I, because in fact, I'm doing nothing these days. And we hadn't seen Wicked until yesterday in the movie theater, and we knew it was leaving. I don't want to talk about Wicked tonight. I do want to talk about another one, but we like to go, and we like to go for the matinees because they're $7. So yesterday we saw Wicked, which I thought was kind of remarkable in the movie. But can I tell you the one I'd love to talk about?
Yeah, for sure.
A Real Pain. Have you seen it?
I have seen A Real Pain, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Did you talk about it on the air?
Just a very little bit a couple weeks ago, right after I saw it. I thought initially when I saw it, John, I made the mistake. All these nominees kind of run together, and I thought it was up for Best Picture. It's not, but Kieran Culkin is up for Best Actor, and he was great, and so was Jesse Eisenberg.
In fact, I so enjoy Jesse Eisenberg, only for the fact that I knew that he wrote it. I knew that he directed it. I knew that he wanted to play the other role. Did you know that?
I did not know that, no.
That's the role he wanted to play. But the producer was like, no, that's not going to happen. You're going to play the role that he did. And I just thought he was so understatedly brilliant. And I thought the movie stayed with me. I saw it a couple weeks ago, and I've been talking about it for a couple weeks. And I just, talk about a family and talk about funny and tender and lovely and history. And I loved almost every moment of it. And Kieran was remarkable. So
he was. I will say this, John, and I'm not really disagreeing, but he was very similar to his character in Succession. But he plays that role so good. Like, you're right. He was really good, and I could see why he got an Oscar nod. But I'm kind of with you. I feel like Jesse Eisenberg, he just has such a great expressive face. He always looks like he's kind of in pain. And you're always trying to read his mind with what he's thinking, especially when he's playing off Kieran Culkin. That's a great movie. I saw it, and I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Wicked? I thought Wicked was a spectacle. I liked it. But I'd be surprised if it won Best Picture, and I don't know why I'm saying that.
I don't think it will. I think it should win anything that has to do with the art of making a movie. Like, it was a spectacular spectacle. You look at those numbers with hundreds of people on sets that were like, I must be just a basic man, because who thinks and really sits down and says, this is what I think that opening shot should look like. I'm like, I'm a simple guy. So I thought it was a great movie, but not the best movie.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I thought it definitely should have gotten nominated. In fact, of all the Best Picture nominees, John, I will say I like them all for a certain reason, but none of them really jump out at me as like I haven't seen I'm Still Here, and I haven't seen The Brutalist. Those are the two I still have to see, and those both sound like Oscar films to me. These other ones, like even A Complete Unknown, really liked it, but I'm like, okay, maybe that could win, or maybe this could win. Anora, Best Picture, I don't know.
No, it'll be interesting year to see where they go and what they, because it's really kind of a crapshoot for any of them. Like, as you said, I'm not sure what will, but the fact that Ariana Grande, like, I loved her. I liked her more than I like Cynthia. Like, I just thought that role is really is kind of specific, and she made it broader than I thought. And I thought she was charming and I loved her in it. So
yeah, I agree. I thought she stole the film in a lot of ways. So let's talk about your movie viewing experience, John. Do you prefer to go to the theater? Do you have a chair you like to sit at home and kind of curl up with some snacks? What's your approach to movie watching?
As a kid, that's all we did was go to the theater, and I'm from the east side of Milwaukee, so we went to the historic Oriental Theater.
Oh, nice.
That's where I saw everything growing up. It was 9 blocks from our house, and on Sunday, my father would give us 50 cents, and we'd walk down. So that's where I saw everything as a kid. The Sound of Music, the Oriental Theater, the quarter to pay a quarter for snacks, and the snacks that we bought were always like a box of Red Hots, because Red Hots, there were a lot of them, and it could last you. A slow poke. Do you remember a slow poke?
Yes, like a Tootsie Roll, right? Sort of.
A big Tootsie Roll on a stick that would take you the whole movie to eat, unless you were me and made your way through it. Milk Duds is what we always got as kids at the Oriental, and Jawbreakers. You know, we didn't have enough money to buy the popcorn and the soda, so we would get the nickel candy, and we buy a couple of those boxes. But the Oriental Theater, which is still today, you know, now blocks from where I live in downtown Milwaukee, and it's about 9 blocks from where I live on the other side. You know, so the Oriental is the middle of where I live now and where I lived as a kid, so it's great.
Such a beautiful theater. That's great. What about when you're sitting at home, John? Do you have a different snack for like when you binge watch TV or when you watch movies at home?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. There you go.
With a whirly. You know the whirly?
No, what's a whirly?
It's the popcorn maker that has you put in your a quarter of a cup of popcorn, and you fill that quarter of a cup with the oil, and you put it into the whirly. You put the top on the whirly, and then you turn it. You turn it, and it's got something on the bottom. It takes like 3.5 minutes to pop the entire batch, and it makes the best popcorn. So we'll do that on a movie night. Otherwise, when we're watching TV on a regular basis, we don't do it. But if we're like tonight we're watching, boom, we'll make the popcorn.
You got to make it an event, and that's perfect. I love that. And what kind of shows does John McGivern binge at home when you're not watching a movie? Do you have a TV show you guys like to watch or that you're into?
We're in the middle. We just finished all 5 seasons of. So I'm on PBS and I'm on Passport, which gives you everything. Oh, yeah. So all Creatures Great and Small, which I never saw from the beginning. And so we watched all 5 seasons in the last 3 weeks, which is great. We just started watching Poldark. Do you know Poldark?
Yeah. Did I watch? That's been on a while, right? I think I watched it right when it came out.
I think that's 6 seasons now.
Okay.
And we look forward to. We're in the middle of the 5th season, and it's a great watch. I rather like comedies, and I rather like something really light. My partner Steve would rather watch a foreign film, and I'm kind of like I'm gonna fall asleep.
Did you see Amelia Perez?
We didn't. No.
Okay. You want to talk about? All right. There's so much going on in that film, but when it comes to subtitles, you know, a lot of it's in Spanish. So they're singing in Spanish, they're talking in Spanish. If you've got the regular subtitles on, you've got English, Spanish, italicized Spanish for what the song is. It's like it's a nightmare trying to follow that movie, but I totally get what you're saying. All right, so that's great. So is your popcorn pick of the week, John, the one we just discussed before, or do you have something? Is that what it is, or have you not given it yet?
A Real Pain. That's
okay. A Real Pain. All right. We
that's
usually
what
do
I would
a drum
watch.
roll, but we jumped into it right away, and that is a great pick, folks. If you haven't seen A Real Pain, it is a really good movie to watch. So definitely check it out, and it's free to stream right now. I think I watched it. I don't know, at Prime or something like that. Didn't cost me a penny.
How often do you go, Pete? Do you go to the movies?
All right. Here's my issue, John. I live in the Marinette area, as you know. You've been in my house.
I've been on your porch.
You've been on my porch.
You got a great porch.
I was kicking underwear out of the way of the cameras when you entered the house, so you know exactly. You literally know all our dirty laundry. But our theater there is great, but it doesn't really. We don't get a huge variety. We get the rom-coms, the action films. There's no foreign films to speak of. Very few independent films. So I typically stream. Or when I'm in Chicago or Milwaukee, I love the Oriental Theater. I'll take the opportunity to see whatever I can there. So, but mostly these days it's, and that's not how I like to watch movies. I just do it because it's convenient, you know?
Yeah.
So John McGivern is my guest. He is the host of Main Streets on PBS. And I think we should turn our attention, John, to season 4. Let's talk about what you're doing. You're doing such incredible things. You're a TV rock star, possibly the most likable host in the history of television. Am I overstating that or am I understating that? I don't know. Who knows?
No, I think you're right, Pete. Completely correct.
Appreciate your honesty.
If people only knew the truth, people think, oh, he's so accessible. No, not really. Not really. He's kind of crabby,
and aloof.
a little ornery. He's old and a little crotchety. Stay away from him.
Oh man, that's funny. So what can we expect? Season 4 just dropped recently, right? Or just started. You're a few episodes in, I believe.
We're 3 episodes in tonight at 7 o'clock. Not that people should not listen to you at 7, but at 7 o'clock on your PBS station will be Frankenmuth, Michigan. Have you been to Frankenmuth? It's got the largest Christmas store in the world, and it's this Bavarian village sort of. Like, I had this preconceived notion that we were going to a Christmas village, German village, and I thought we're going to Wisconsin Dells, but in the German sort of way, when in fact it was really kind of incredibly well done. And to watch the episode, you will see a destination spot that you'll want to visit. Frankenmuth, Michigan. We did it the same week that we did Ludington. We took the Badger over. You know, the Badger, the ferry that takes you from Manitowoc to Ludington.
Nice. Yeah.
But Pete, it was the week of the John McGivern bus tour. Do you know that there are people who pay to do a John McGivern, go where John McGivern's gone? So there were 2 buses, 48 people on each bus, counted up, and they got on the Badger with us, which meant that I started working the moment we got on the Badger, because there were 96 people who were like, "Hi, John."
That's like a 4-hour ride, right?
They made me call bingo. And I mean, but that's happened now. They did that for Around the Corner, which is the show we did for 9 years. There was a John McGivern bus tour, and it's just continued through the 4 years of Main Streets. So
that is so great, John. So, all right, Frank. It's funny. I looked at your schedule today on your website, and you have all the cities lined up. And I that was like, it took me back to like the '90s when I did stand up. I think I worked every one of those cities, so I probably had some crossover with your audience. But John McGivern is here. We have to do a very quick break, and then we'll come back with a few more minutes with John. We're talking Main Streets. They're in season 4. Such an incredible run for John as the host of several shows. And we'll talk to John a few minutes more about that when we come back on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Just wanna close your eyes, follow your dream down. We made a promise, it's what we'd always remember. No retreat, taking no surrender. Our soldiers on a winter's night with a vow to defend.
Denmark to De Pere. This is 97.9 WGBW.
Community is more than where you live. It's the people in it who show up each day and help it thrive. During Black History Month and year-round, AARP recognizes the everyday excellence of those who give back to their Wisconsin communities. They believe when efforts drive change for the greater good, everyone thrives together. Connect and learn what AARP is doing locally and how they can make the communities better for all ages. Visit aarp.org/WI. Paid for by AARP.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government buy-in for the people. While attacks on democracy norms ensue in Washington, state legislatures have also been busy. We have updates from Utah, Kansas, Indiana, and the contested North Carolina Supreme Court race. Voting Rights Lab reports that the Utah House is considering HB 300, which forces mail-in ballot users to deliver their ballot not by mail, but by hand to an official polling place where an ID can be presented. The elderly, disabled, and other voters for whom returning by mail is their only option would need to seek special permission. HB 332 would withdraw Utah from the Cooperative Electronic Registration Data Center, the subject of far-right conspiracy theories. The Kansas Senate passed SB 4, which requires receipt of mail-in ballots by 7 p.m. Election Day to count, rather than the current 3 days after. An Indiana Senate committee advanced SB 284, shortening early in-person voting from 28 days to 14 days, ending at noon the day before Election Day. The full Senate passed SB 10, ending use of school-issued student identification as ID for voting. In North Carolina, a district court judge dismissed a claim by a state Supreme Court candidate that in a race he lost by 734 votes, as many as 65,000 voters were ineligible. A federal appeals court may revisit it. We've linked.
Hi, this is Jenny Slate, and you are listening to Night Light with Pete Schwaba.
Words like violence break the silence, come crashing into my little
What are
world.
your Valentine's Day plans, ladies and gentlemen? That is our question, our Nightlight question of the night. What are your Valentine's Day plans? Reach us on the stream, the app, the old-fashioned radio, the text line. Just reach us because we love to hear from you throughout the course of the show. John McGivern is my guest right now. He's the host of Main Streets on public television, and I would say Wisconsin public, or I would say PBS Wisconsin, but you're kind of all over the place now, John. You guys are in like what 6 or 7 states now. It seems like
We're on 32 PBS markets around the country. Yeah, it's doing well. We're really thrilled. It's the #1 local show, rating-wise, of any market in the country. As far as Thursday nights go, we beat them all. So
I think I remember you saying that about Around the Corner too, which I know you're not one to toot your own horn too much, but that's pretty incredible, John. I mean, to do that with 2 shows, that's remarkable. You've got Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin this season, Cedar Rapids, Long Grove, Illinois, Kokomo, Indiana, West Bend, Wisconsin. It sounds like it's going to be just a great. Let me ask you, John, what's the biggest city you would go to? It seems like most of these are sort of smaller towns or small-ish. Would you guys do a big city?
we have. So if you watch this season, we did Indianapolis. We did a neighborhood in Indianapolis. We did Cathedral Hill in St. Paul. We did Northeast in Minneapolis. So we're going into the bigger cities and claiming a neighborhood. So Mass Ave or the Bottle district in Indianapolis aired a couple weeks ago, I believe. But to be honest, those are my favorite, to get into those big cities and kind of feel what it's like to a city like Indianapolis. Felt so much like my hometown of Milwaukee, and sensibility wise, I thought, oh, we're going to be in Indiana. Should I be afraid? Is what I thought, but I wasn't. It was fine. We'll do a neighborhood in the big city.
That's a great, because a lot of those neighborhoods are like small towns anyway. Sometimes the people don't ever leave, and they've got their customs, and that's just great. So let me ask you this: you've been in some pretty big movies. You were in Sheer Madness, I remember, in Chicago. That ran forever, and now you've been hosting your own show in a couple different derivations thereof, I guess. What is your favorite thing to do? Are you at home more now than you ever have been? Do you like doing bigger productions where other people write for you? What's your favorite?
I still do like my stand-up theater stuff. So in fact, this Saturday, a week from Saturday, I'm in McGuanago at a 900-seat performing arts center, and I do that while we're not shooting. So we shoot from May through October. And if I had my way, I love doing the theater stuff where it's just me. I don't work with anybody but me. I get into there an hour before. I make sure the lights and the sound is good. And then the people show up and I spend an hour and a half with a group of 1,000 people usually. And that's kind of my favorite thing. And it still gets me where, my heart is racing before I walk out on stage, and I think every time, why do I do this? I got to quit doing this. I hate this. I get out there and I leave and I'm like, oh my God, that was the best. So that's what I really love doing. That TV stuff is so second nature since I've been doing it for 15 years. We've been doing a show. So
wow.
And it just takes so much more time. You know what it's like, Pete. It takes a lot of time to make a half hour of television. So each one of those episodes is 4.5, 5 days of spending time in a community. So
that's fantastic. We have a couple texts here, John, that are sort of directed at you. Well, part of this one is anyway. Monica from Mount Horeb says, disregard the first part, John. She says, like the sex positive program. Thank you, Monica. That's why I'm here. She says, love John McGivern.
It's so nice.
For Valentine's Day, she will be trying to avoid her loser ex-boyfriends. The moon is full. They all come out. Well, curl up with some John McGivern. That's what I say, Monica. I mean, you can't go wrong. And then Tom from Jackson says, hi, Pete. Is John Irish? I would assume you are, John, but I don't want to answer for you.
So Irish. Yeah, I'm McGivern, and my mother's maiden name was O'Fahey. Yeah, we're so Irish. Yeah.
You could get in fights with yourself after a few drinks with that being that. John, we got about a minute left. Favorite memory of Main Streets over the last 4 seasons? Something you want to share?
It's usually this is what people usually ask, what was your favorite? And my favorite is generally wherever we are that week. And then, so what's coming up is that we just decided on the next 13 episodes because season 5 has been given a green light. So I think my memories will be made again starting in May through the end of October. And we're spending 8 of the weeks in Wisconsin again. We're coming back home and only doing 1 episode for the other states and 8 of them in our great state of Wisconsin. So I'm looking forward to it.
They're so lucky to have you. Keep up the great work, John. It's so great. And if you ever come up this way to do another live show, give us a heads up. I'd love to have you in the studio, and we can have some fun here and help you promote it. It would be a lot of fun.
That'd be great. Thanks, Pete.
All right. Have a great night. Keep watching those movies. That's John McGivern. Check out Main Streets on PBS Wisconsin. He is a bona fide, such a great host and a good guy, an even better guy. That's what they say. Where does that come from, Conrad? He's a great talent and an even better guy. Have you never heard that before?
I've heard it before. I don't know where it's from, though.
All right, let's go to the Google. All right, so we'll read some more of your texts when we come back. Civic Media's news team is going to keep you informed and tell you what you need to know. And then at 7:20 tonight, folks, Nick Wattier will be here from the Green Bay Film Festival. We'll be talking about a very fun event they have coming up there with giant spiders invading the Tarleton Theater right down the street here. We'll do that at 7:20. We'll read your text when we come back, and we'll talk about one of my favorite actors, too. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Light on the Civic Media Radio Network. To the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Nite Light with Pete Schwaba.
Dom Selvia.
Monday, we'll be back live. We check in with our favorite Delano Democrat, Harvey Kaye. Plus, fallout from the resignations at the SDNY over dropping charges against Mayor Eric Adams. Tune in.
The Dom Selvia Show, weekdays 4 till 6.
Hey, it's John Mino.
And Jim Schmidt from Mino and the Mayor.
Want to stay in the loop with all things Northeast Wisconsin? Sign up for the WGBW weekly newsletter.
Get the latest local stories, updates on the weather, and a special feature from our Mino and the Mayor podcast.
It's your one-stop shop for real news and great conversation in Northeast Wisconsin.
Log on to WGBW.FM today and get signed up.
Real news, great conversation. Sign up today at WGBW.FM/newsletter. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram. This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. Mass layoffs in the federal government.
75,000 federal workers have accepted the administration's buyout offer to get paid until September or risk being laid off. About 3% of the federal workforce, less than the 5 to 10% the administration was hoping for. That offer now closed. We're learning mass layoffs for those who didn't take the offer have begun, with thousands of people expected to be let go. The Department of Education firing 40 employees hired over the last year.
ABC's Mary Bruce. The Associated Press says its sources tell it 86-year-old Andrew Lester of Kansas City, Missouri, will plead guilty Friday to shooting and wounding then 16-year-old Ralph Yarl after the teen mistakenly knocked on Lester's door. Undisclosed to what Lester will plead guilty to. A bus and a truck collided head-on near a town on the border with South Africa. 24 people killed. This is ABC News.
Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you. And the Fox Valley Technical College in Appleton is hosting their 3rd annual Black History Month Afro Hair Fair. On February 15th from noon till 4 p.m., you can join an event that focuses on increasing access to proper hair for 3A to 4C hair types. So whether you're a parent, a student, stylist, or passionate about hair equality in general, this is your opportunity to connect and learn together. Head to WGBW.FM, click events, and learn how to register now.
Every story matters, and the Civic Media Radio Network is celebrating Black History Month by honoring the powerful stories of Wisconsin's own trailblazers.
Looking at the road that was laid before me.
From civil rights to business.
Food and food trucks is just like a cool atmosphere.
Science to music.
Speaking of which, this is why I spit. Express sentiment a lot of cats don't get.
I'm Terry Barr, inviting you to join us right here for inspiring stories all month long.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. To say it's cold is putting it mildly. Meteorologist Brittany Merlot tells us it's about to get worse.
Bitter cold is spilling back into the state. Temperatures are diving sub-zero and wind chills are making it feel much worse. Cold weather advisories have been posted in spots northwest, with that expected to expand further south tonight. Wind chills will be feeling anywhere from 15 to 20 below zero, and frostbite can nip you quickly in these conditions. Signs to look out for include soreness or pins and needles feelings in your fingers, toes, ears, and nose. If this happens, never rub the area. That'll damage the tissue even more. Get inside and warm up the spot slowly.
Election night returns can take a very long time, especially if you have central processing and have to open thousands of absentee ballots. That's why Assembly member Ahmad Rivera Wagner of Green Bay is supporting legislation that would allow clerks and election officials to process absentee ballots early.
We can get those election results earlier, and that would help us curve misinformation where there isn't a big long space where people can make up that somehow something nefarious is happening.
The Bucks beat the Timberwolves. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Despite missing Giannis and Damian Lillard, the Bucks beat the Timberwolves in Minnesota, 103-101. Doc Rivers pleased with the new players who stepped in, like Kyle Kuzma and Gary Trent, and the performance by Kevin Porter Jr.
His guts, he's calm. Kuz, I thought, had some great plays downhill. Gary Trent, a lot of guys just played well. We moved the ball, the entire game.
I guess what do you like about your effort defense?
Just gutty. We did our best of doing it without fouling. Overall, we did that, and that was really good.
Kyle Kuzma, on what it's like playing for the Bucks instead of the last place Washington Wizards.
I'm not going to call Washington a bad team because it's not a bad team. They're just in a rebuild, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do there for their future. Matters.
Baseball, the Brewers signing lefty Tyler Alexander to a one-year, $1 million deal. He had been with the Tampa Bay Rays. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News. Your news in depth. Find it in the news section at WGBW.FM.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight, cold, a low of 5 below. For tomorrow, a cloudy sky with snow showers developing in the afternoon, continuing into Saturday afternoon. Accumulations of 4 to 7 inches, winter weather advisories in effect. Currently, it's 10 above.
Ever tried balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle? Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Mino and the Mayor.
You're sore when you start working out after you have been working. Okay, so no big deal.
Did you stretch before you worked out?
Yeah, big time.
You did not. Yeah, see, that's
Okay, you stretch before and after. And really, your stretch before and after should equal the time you work out.
Okay, hey, Dad.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday morning 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS. And the Civic Media app. Earl Ingram.
It's the Earl Ingram Show. Hope you're staying warm. I'm excited to have my good friend Sandy Williams here to discuss today's news.
The Earl Ingram Show, weekday. Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who writes checks his mouth can't cash, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back. Our Nightlight question of the night, ladies and gentlemen. What are your Valentine's Day plans? We'd love to know. Share them with us if you would. Most people seem like they're a little hesitant. We've gotten some texts, but people don't seem like they want to share too much, and you certainly don't have to. Todd from De Pere did text us and said, if I were to stock, and this is in reference to earlier when Conrad said you kept condoms in your piggy bank.
Yep.
Todd said, if I were to stockpile condoms in a piggy bank, they'd expire before I could even use one. Well, yeah, with that attitude, Todd.
Who said I don't have expired condoms?
Here's my problem with that. Let's say you have, a partner at your house, and you're like all raring to go, and it's like, oh my God, hold on, I gotta go get a condom. They seem like they'd be harder to get out of the piggy bank than to get into the piggy bank. So now you got to create a whole scene with a hammer and break the piggy bank. You got pennies all, falling all over the place while you look for the appropriate condom. I think you need a better system. So Todd,
it just looks cool. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I said it just looks cool to have a piggy bank. All right.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to put condoms in there. You could just put pennies in there, like most normal people, or a quarter or something. There's got to be a better way. That's all I'm saying. Todd, you and Conrad should put your heads together and figure this out. But what are your plans for Valentine's Day, folks? That is our question. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Let us know. JB checking in on the stream says Frankenmuth is amazing. Kids love the water park, and there's an amazing, really old restaurant with great fried chicken. Okay. So, Conrad, we know JB is the guy behind the guy. He's introduced us to several guests. Really good dude. He's been on the show himself as a guest. I'm starting to think there's nowhere JB hasn't been. He even knows Frankenmuth, Michigan. So, good for you, JB. Thank you for the referral. If we're ever in Frankenmuth, John McGivern was already there, unfortunately. But you know what? My guess would be he probably found the fried chicken restaurant anyway. So, there you go. Pardon me. Pardon me. As you know, folks, too, the phone lines are open. You can chime in on whatever we're talking about. Just great to hear from you. Conrad, let's get to this clip. I found this. This cracked me up. This was Will Ferrell. Was he on Colbert? I sent this to you a few days ago. I've already forgotten where he was at, but I want to get to this clip. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But it's him talking about what he used to do in college, and this reminded me of guys I knew in college, and I just lost it when I heard this. It's such a great story from Will Ferrell.
In college, I would dress up like a janitor and interrupt my buddy's lecture class with like a bucket and a mop. Once again, a lit cigarette.
I just roll in,
and the teacher would say, "Can I help you?" I go, "No one threw up in here." And the professor would go, "No." I'm like, "Well, sorry, I'm from physical plant. They gave me a call that someone threw up in here. Are you sure no one threw up in here?" Teacher would go, "No, I don't know why you're here." And just to make two of my friends laugh in the back row. And then I just walk out.
Pardon me. That reminded me of a buddy of mine. I was in a philosophy class once, and he kept walking by. He would never look in the room. He just kept walking. He'd go this way. He'd wait 30 seconds and come back the other way. Very purposeful walk. Very good clip. He'd turn and go back. He probably did that 10 or 12 times. And I'm on the floor. He's not even acknowledging, but he knows I can see him. It was such commitment to the joke for a college kid. Before I knew much about comedy at all, or before he knew anything about it. It was very funny stuff. But can you picture Will Ferrell doing that as a 20-year-old guy?
I can definitely picture him doing that.
Yeah, that's great stuff. All right, so yesterday, folks, we started to get into this yesterday, but we had a pretty packed show yesterday as well. Josh Brolin, it was his birthday, and he's about my age. We're both very muscular, but he is a – I just looked over and Conrad just raised his eyebrow. You didn't even look at me. You just kind of raised your eyebrows like, well, that's an interesting thing to say. But I do love Josh Brolin. I think he's a really good actor. From the first thing I think I ever saw him in was The Goonies. And I thought, oh, this guy's, pretty funny, whatever. Kind of made me think, oh, I'd love to be an actor. It'd be fun to be in a movie like that, But he was great in The Goonies. I recently watched The Sicarios 1 and 2. First one has Emily Blunt. She's very good in it, too. And the second one, Benicio del Toro's in both of them, actually. So, but really good, solid action films. Pardon me. So, my favorite role, though, that Josh Brolin has ever played was probably Llewellyn Moss from No Country for Old Men. That's a film I watched the first time, and it was kind of hard for me to watch because the character of Anton Chigurh is so creepy, and Javier Bardem plays him with such conviction. He's so good in that role and so creepy, and then whatever the hell that thing, that cattle prod thing he's dragging around and killing people with, I'd never seen anything like that. So once I got used to it and the way he killed those people, it was an easier movie to watch. But Josh Brolin plays a guy who finds $2 million from a drug deal gone bad, and Chigurh is looking for the money. And let's do, what clips do we have again? We've got the one where he's on the phone.
Yep.
And then the other one is where he's talking to his wife, correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's do that. That's the clip right after he finds the $2 million. He's been out into the evening with all hours.
Him talking to his wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do that. He found $2 million. He's hiding it under his trailer in the trailer park they live in because he knows somebody is going to claim the money. I'll just let the clip speak for itself, but it's really good acting. And then we have another great clip between Josh Brolin and Javier Bardem as well.
Llewellyn? What the hell?
The Odessa.
Why would we go to Odessa?
Not we, you. You stay with your mother.
Well, how come?
Look, right now it's midnight Sunday. The courthouse opens 9 hours from now. Someone's going to be calling in the vehicle number on the inspection plate of my truck. Around 9:30, they'll show up here.
But for how long do we have to...
Baby, at what point would you quit bothering to look for your $2 million?
What am I supposed to tell Mama?
Why don't you try standing in the door and hollering, Mom, I'm home.
Llewellyn?
Come on, pack your things. Anything you leave, you ain't going to see again.
Well, don't fall down apologizing.
Baby, things happen. I can't take him back.
Such a good character. He plays like this Vietnam vet who is just very matter of fact about everything. And Kelly MacDonald plays his wife. She's really good too. Kind of reluctantly going along with everything Josh Brolin is plotting here. But he finds $2 million. He knows somebody's going to be looking for it. He does not know there's a tracker in with the cash that Javier Bardem's character, Antoine Chigurh, is going to find. And the scene where he finds out the tracker is in the suitcase, he's on the run, and it's just a phenomenal standoff, like only the Coen brothers can do, or few can do. Here's another scene from No Country for Old Men where Josh Brolin calls. He's looking for Woody Harrelson's character to sort of broker a deal, and he gets the guy who's trying to kill him. And he is worried he's going to kill his wife as well, and that's Anton Chigurh, who has principle. The great thing about, have you seen the movie, Conrad?
I have not.
Okay, the great thing about Chigurh is he's like principled. He's evil, but he does not go back on his word. And here's a scene. It's over the phone. Anton Chigurh has just blown away Woody Harrelson, and now he and Josh Brolin have a scene together.
Hello?
Yes.
Is Carson Wells there?
Not in the sense that you mean.
You need to come and see me.
Who is this? You know who it is. You need to talk to me.
I don't need to talk to you.
I think you do. Do you know where I'm going? Why would I care where you're going? I know where you are.
Yeah, where am I?
You're in the hospital across the river. But that's not where I'm going. Do you know where I'm going?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
All right.
You know she won't be there.
It doesn't make any difference where she is.
So what are you going up there for?
You know how this is gonna turn out, don't you?
Nope.
I think you do. So this is what I'll offer. You bring me the money and I'll let her go. Otherwise, she's accountable. The same as you. That's the best deal you're gonna get. I won't tell you can save yourself, because you can't.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you something, all right? I decided to make you a special project of mine. You ain't gonna have to come look for me at all.
Great movie. Highly recommend it. No Country for Old Men. Josh Brolin. How old is he today? 57?
Yep.
Yeah. 57. He's got a good resume, good acting resume. All right, we have one more clip, and I asked you to find this because you're the big Adam Sandler fan. And this is, wait, was it his birthday or did the movie drop?
The Wedding Singer.
That dropped today, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here, I remember seeing a trailer for this movie. We went to see Boogie Nights. There was like 7 or 8 of us. We're at the Universal movie theaters. And Jimmy Pardo, who has been on this show before, we're watching the trailer for The Wedding Singer. And right as the crowd noise dies down and everyone's laughing at Adam Sandler, he just says in the Jimmy Pardo voice, "It's one to see, huh?" And the whole theater heard him say it. It's beautiful. So here's a clip from The Wedding Scene. Anything else we need to know here, Conrad? You clipped it, so tell us if there's something we're going to miss.
It's just one of the songs that he performs. Well, it's after he broke up with someone.
Okay.
So it's a little different than his usual repertoire.
All right, lay it on us.
You don't know how much I need you while you're near me. I don't feel blue, and when we kiss, I know you need me too. I can't believe I found a love that's so pure and true, but it all was bull.
Crap.
And when I think of you, Linda, I hope you
frickin'
joke. I hope you're glad with what you've done to me. I lay in bed all day long, feeling melancholy. You left me here all alone, tears running constantly. Oh, somebody kill me, please! Somebody kill me, please!
That's ominous. We're coming right back with the Green Bay Film Festival's Nick Wattier. Coming right back on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself, surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Marquette University professor and pollster extraordinaire Charles Franklin.
Deporting immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally. 60% support that, but when we ask the same question, just add at the end, including those with jobs and no criminal record, then support drops to just 43%.
Wisconsinites have a sense of fairness.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
It's easy to listen to your favorite local radio station anytime. Download the Civic Media app from the Apple or Google Play Store, then listen live or whenever you want from anywhere for free.
That first time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Missed your favorite show live on air? It's easy to find what you enjoy wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And we're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
Every time I think of you, I feel a shot right through the bow of blue. It's no problem of mine, but it's a problem I find. Living a life that I can't.
Welcome back. What are your plans for Valentine's Day, folks? That is our question of the night. Let us know, and we will read your text on the radio. Joining me now in the studio, if you're watching on the stream, you can see this gentleman sitting next to me. His name is Nick Wattier, and he is with the Green Bay Film. What is your exact title of the Green Bay Film? Program director, right?
I'm the treasurer.
Oh, treasurer. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the treasurer of the festival. But we all kind of do double roles. So
I remember
end up
that,
working the door, and I'm helping with, sponsorship opportunities, our fiscal receivership program. So there's a
Yeah.
little bit of marketing, a little bit of sales, a little bit of everything.
That's fantastic. And you've been there for a while because you've been on the show 3 or 4 times over the last 14 months or so.
Yeah, and it's just like we're constantly changing the way that we work, and trying to keep things fresh and exciting.
Yeah.
Like this year, we really want to make sure that people are understanding the value of the community experience. I think that we're seeing a lot of people that like to watch the streaming services, the Netflixes of the world, and they're great. There is something nice about the comfort of your own home and the pause button. Like, don't get me wrong, that is awesome. But there's also something about watching a comedy with 100 other like-minded folks and hearing that community laughter, or when we're playing our documentary series, like to be able to have the conversations afterward. And that's why it's like important to me to make sure that we bring the artists in
Right.
to have that conversation about the work that they just did.
That's the whole festival experience too, right?
Right.
I mean, is those live appearances, live audiences. I agree with you. I think, it's true. It is nice to watch movies in the comfort of your own home. But I find myself, I don't know if you do this either, Nick, but like I'll think of stuff to do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll pause. I'll go, oh, yeah, now I can relax. I did that. Oh, wait a minute. I should put my stuff in the dryer before I come back. Like, you don't do that at a movie theater, right?
Nope.
Like, I won't even go to the bathroom for 2 hours if I'm into the film and I'm putting myself through hell.
Exactly.
If I'm in the theater. So you've got a couple big events coming up. We'll talk about those in a few minutes here. But give us a little bit of background, if you would, about the Green Bay Film Festival.
Yeah, so we're kicking off our 15th season this year.
Good for you guys. Wow.
Right. And like I said, we've been through a bunch of iterations. We have a great relationship with Oneida Nation, and we used to do our festival at their hotel. They have a nice conference center out in Oneida.
Yeah.
And we've grown through the years. We went over to St. Norbert College for a while. Now we're at the Tarleton Theater, downtown Green Bay, which is a phenomenal host to give us that cozy community feeling.
Yeah.
Like when we were at St. Norbert College, again, phenomenal screens. We had 3 or 4 theaters going at the same time. But what kind of ended up happening was our audience got dispersed around the city of De Pere, or village of whatever it's classified as, right? There was the Birder Hall down the street, and there was the Fort Howard Theater, and there was 2 screens in the Webb and the Walter, and it was fantastic. We could play a lot of stuff, but you could get lost even among the friends that you came with. Well, I need to see something here at this time and here at that time.
Right.
So to try and really enhance that community element, and to, like, one of the pieces of feedback we got was you couldn't see everything because there were 4 screens running at the same time. So
Right.
we've kind of narrowed that down now and made it our screeners, our selection committee has kind of picked the cream of the crop. We've picked the things that we think are the most important, and we make it one screen, and we make sure that we have somebody there to tell a story, to have a talk back, to do a demonstration. We try to make it a more interactive than just looking at the screen for 20 minutes for a short or an hour and a half for a feature.
Right. Pardon me. It says on your website, the film festival curated for Green Bay. What does
Yes.
that mean? Can you explain that?
So what we've done is we actually have, for this year, several sessions where I'm not even going to drop a number because we just added one earlier this week. So we're still programming for this year. We have 2 sessions, a March and an April, that are both Wisconsin filmmaker focused.
Okay.
So everything we'll be playing at those was made in or with people from the state of Wisconsin. And then we have a Packers feature that's coming. And then we start to get a little bit more into the nationwide, the worldwide selections. We have an animations package, some comedy, some sci-fi, environmental pieces. We're looking at this new event that's coming up is going to be focused on native storytelling.
Okay.
So either about
You guys do that
or by-
often, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and part of that too, we have awesome partnership, like I said, with Oneida Nation. They're helping us with some of our print services, and they're helping us find filmmakers that are connected to the area that we want to help those local artists anyway.
Yeah.
And if they can help us make those connections, we're all about it.
Last time you were here, or maybe it was the time before that, did you say you guys are financing films now too?
Yeah. So
how does that work?
So the festival is a product produced by our 501c3 Film Green Bay Incorporated.
Okay.
And what we can do is basically offer grant programs, and we've set it up in a way where if you want to produce a film in the state of Wisconsin, and really it can be anywhere, basically our bylaws indicate that we are trying to create a hub for the enjoyment and creation of film media. So if we can work with you to help fulfill our mission, we can create a donor's choice bucket. And people can donate funds to us and say, hey, I want this to go to the Amphibious Film Project. That's one of them we're working on right now.
Okay.
And when that money comes in, we hold it in a special account. And as Amphibious starts to have bills to pay, whether that's actors or locations or anything like that, we cover those invoices for them out of these funds that we've
Wow.
received as donations.
And you control it. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're giving it to a filmmaker who can go.
Right. I mean, we don't pay the film. We pay the invoice to create the film. So through that, we're also building a network of editors and colorists and actors
Wow.
and locations, and getting like a database of what these people cost and what projects they've been part of before. So we're trying to build that network of people and help everybody find each other.
Do you have how high of a budget will you go up to? Is the sky the limit, or
I mean the highest I've done so far is 60,000.
Okay.
Our target for some of our current projects is in the hundreds. 200,000 is, I believe, the target for Amphibious. And I mean, really, there isn't a limit to what we can collect. And I think what's nice about our project is we're funding the work. We aren't buying the film.
Right.
So we help get the art created. It's up to the artist what they want to do. If they want to license it, they want to stream it, they want to sell it. That's all on them. We're not keeping them from making money. It's not a nonprofit project. The nonprofit is helping fund the project.
That's so great. That's a very unique and cool thing. We'll talk more about that, and we're going to talk about giant spiders, ladies and gentlemen. That is coming up next after the news. Nick Wattier is here from the
the Green Bay Film
Green
Festival.
Bay Film
There we
Festival.
go.
This is Peach Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Maggie Dawn Show.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News,
I'm Lisa Hale. The Wisconsin Office of Children's Mental Health released a set of new recommendations this week calling for more mental health support on college campuses. The new recommendations would include schools being more proactive in identifying if students need support with routine screenings and new staff training, as well as improving peer support systems. Wisconsin has seen a dramatic increase in the number of kids struggling with mental health in recent years, which has also been cited as a common reason students drop out of school. The support for a statewide Office of Violence Prevention is gaining around Wisconsin. Melissa Kay has this story.
The support for a statewide Office of Violence Prevention is gaining ground in Wisconsin. Safety experts and advocates say they're hopeful it will save lives. Federal investments have historically been helpful in efforts to address the causes of violence before it happens, but with the recent Trump administration ordered spending freeze and rescinding federal grants, these efforts may be in jeopardy. Governor Tony Evers announced he is directing $10 million to the Office of Violence Prevention. The funds will come from the American Rescue Plan Act. It's still unclear whether the Trump administration will impact federal funds for programs like these.
The Wisconsin Office of School Safety released a new edition of the Comprehensive School Safety Framework this week. The new framework is meant to serve as a guide for schools to develop safety plans to best protect their students. It would include conducting safety assessments, creating emergency plans, encouraging students to speak out when they believe there may be a threat, and investing in improved mental health services. The agency is also seeking $2.3 million in the biennial budget proposal to continue its work. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Super Bowl 59 set a record in ad sale revenues. According to Variety, Fox Corporation pulled in more than $800 million between all the Super Bowl viewing platforms. The asking price for ads was $7 million for 30 seconds, and that went up to $8 million as the game got closer. Fox reports that this is about $150 million more than 2023, the last time they covered the Super Bowl. The game was also the most watched and streamed Super Bowl ever, with over 14 million viewers watching the game on Tubi. Thank goodness Netflix had nothing to do with this broadcast. Presenters for this year's Oscar broadcast have been announced. In addition to last year's winners, Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Emma Stone, and Da'Vine Joy Randolph, 2025 presenters will also include Halle Berry, Penelope Cruz, Scarlett Johansson, Elle Fanning, John Lithgow, and Amy Poehler. This year's ceremony will be hosted by Conan O'Brien and takes place March 2nd. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight, cold, a low of 5 below. For tomorrow, a cloudy sky with snow showers developing in the afternoon, continuing into Saturday afternoon. Accumulations of 4 to 7 inches, winter weather advisories in effect. Currently, we're at 8.
Mino and the Mayor.
Well, I think everybody's been there because he was sitting there for the longest time. So I just gave him a little beep, and it was green.
Yeah.
I could see he was vaping. It was meant on his vaping thing. And then all of a sudden, he rolls his window and gives me the bird. So I'm trying to get his attention so he can see that I'm giving him the finger too, but I couldn't get my window down.
And you wanted to make sure he could see it.
I was waving to him like, hey, hey. Yeah, exactly.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday mornings 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS. And the Civic Media app.
Carmelo Anthony for the Bail Project.
Bad news, you've been arrested. Good news, you're innocent until proven guilty. If you can pay your bail, good news, you go home to wait your trial. If you can't, sorry, you go to jail to wait. But sure, you still presumed innocent. But since you can't afford bail, you've lost your freedom. That's not right. And that's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On Friday's show, Mark Hewson from Bell and Sports.
Tomorrow night on the show, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, we've got a jam-packed show tomorrow night. Emerson Lehman from the WBAY Morning Show will be here. That's here in Green Bay. Emerson has become a staple on your TVs around Green Bay. He'll be here tomorrow evening. He often drops by the studio, and we have a blast when he's here. He's got a new show, right, Conrad?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. And then Kaylin Cole will be here. We just added Kaylin last minute. She's going to come by, do a pre-record, and we're going to air. She's an up-and-coming singer-songwriter. She's phenomenal. She's been featured here on Bar Band Friday night from time to time, thanks to Terry Barr. She's in Green Bay performing this weekend, so we'll talk about that with her tomorrow, and then we'll get her out of here and on the way to the show with enough time to get out there and entertain the fine folks of Green Bay. And then, obviously, it's a Bar Band Friday night. Terry Barr will be here, so big show tomorrow night as well. Right now, my friend Nick Watier is in the studio talking about the Green Bay Film Festival and a really cool event coming up next month. Nick, let's jump into this before we run out of time and get sidetracked. You've got giant spiders invading the Tarleton Theater. Please explain that.
I'm so excited. So back in, what was it, 1975, I believe.
50 years, yeah.
It's 50 years ago, the giant spider invasion came out. And Bill Rabin, who is he's a Latvian American that moved to the States, started selling camera equipment, and then after making some money, made his own little studio up in Gleason, and just started cranking out these, what we now call B horror films.
Yeah.
And he's got 10, 15 projects out there. They're all great cult hits, but the giant spider invasion really took off. It was featured on Mystery Science Theater. It's been featured on Riff Tracks, and it's got this huge following. In fact, last year he sold out a theater in not Waukesha,
Waiwega.
Yeah. That's it. He sold out Waiwega with the film, and now we were blessed with this opportunity to show it again on the 50th anniversary of release. Bill's coming out to talk about it. We've got Dan Davies, who he's working on another project with, coming to lead the Q&A, but we'll have audience Q&A as well as Dan's led conversation. And we're just super excited to have the opportunity to show this work. I've seen it before, but when I heard we were playing it, I'm like, okay, I need to revisit and watch it again. And man, it really holds up.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, 70s horror. It's got a lot of actors from its day that were,
I remember Alan Hale from Gilligan's Island is in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And just the ingenuity of seeing how they were able to produce. If I remember correctly, it had something like a $300,000 budget, which isn't nothing, especially in, 1970s dollars. Like that's some money compared to the types of films we're normally playing. But it ended up in 1975 being like one of the top 50 grossing films, bringing in something like $30 million.
Isn't that something? Wow.
Right. So, and I think what I'm so excited about is we get to highlight to our local audience here that there's real work that comes out of our area that gets noticed and gets picked up. A lot of Bill's work is super popular overseas. He's a huge hit in like Germany. But to see here locally what he's done and the ingenuity working on a budget, they needed this spider that was, 8-10 feet. In real life, it's built out of a Volkswagen Bug.
Right, that's right.
They took a Volkswagen Bug, wrapped it, put legs on it. They did a bunch of metal fab, and they're driving it down the streets of Merrill, Wisconsin, where they shot most of the film. And I assume we're going to find out on March 14th at the event when we have the Q&A. I assume it was just kind of an open call for extras. Hey, anybody in town that wants to be in the movie, you're going to get chased down the street by this spider-looking bug. And it's super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited because Bill's going to be there. Dan's going to be there. We'll have the film to play. We're also featuring one of Dan's projects, The Rise of Dearmageddon, the musical.
I want to ask you about that too, because Dan has been on the show and he's talked about that. But if we could still keep the focus on the giant spider.
Sure.
So Bill is like 88 now, right? He's going to be there.
Right.
He's been on the show before, and I remember him saying that what I love about his story is that I think he emigrated here, lived in Chicago, discovered northern Wisconsin, and kind of never turned back. Like he just loved it up there.
Absolutely.
And he built all this. He was very innovative too, as I recall, in terms of camera equipment and stuff like.
Yeah, I think he kind of is one of the pioneers that made CinemaScope a thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Like he got licensed to sell CinemaScope and pushed it through the mid-market, the Chicago area, and kind of got them to keep up with what started happening and influence what was happening on the coasts, right? But he's still up in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We sent Vance from our team up there to do an interview for a print piece, and man, just the wealth of knowledge that he has about the way to get things done. Again, I think that people that haven't tried to make film or video media, the thing that people understand is sometimes it's just hard to get the spark and then the motivation to go with the spark. Like it takes an idea and then it takes the willingness to do the work to get it done.
Right.
That's why, like, even some people, The Room is a very popular film now for not being that great. I think it's inspirational that Tommy Wiseau put in the work to make that happen.
What's
he
The
believed
Room?
his story enough. Oh, The Room, man. That's got to be about 8 or 10 years old now.
Okay.
It was shot in L.A. By a gentleman named Tommy Wiseau. It's pretty famous for, like, I don't know, a week or two into filming, firing his entire crew and getting new people. He wrote it, he directed it, he stars in it. And again, it's like, it's not a fantastic movie, but it has this Rocky Horror following where people will go and they'll bring footballs to play catch during the movie. And there's like, one of the things he bought as a set dressing was like a frame, but he never changed the picture that came with the frame. So there's just like a picture of a random spoon, because that's what came in the frame, and it moves around the set to different rooms. So like it's a game for the audience. Find the spoon, and they throw spoons in it. It's such a blast.
Anything to keep the focus off the movie, apparently.
Kind of. But again, it's like I can watch that movie alone and understand that, it may not be the best written thing. It might, like, it's shot really well.
Okay.
The story has some holes in it. Like, there's an actor that comes in, announces she has cancer, and it's never referred to again for the next 90 minutes of film. Why? I don't know. But it's a blast. And, I think that film gives me that inspiration to encourage other artists.
Yeah.
Because while it's not famous and popular for the reasons that Tommy wanted it to be, he has been a champ in embracing the audience he found. He goes to these screenings. Yes, he knows people are making jokes. Yes, he knows people are, just there to almost mock it, right? But he's embraced the fame he found.
Okay.
And there's actually books about the process of making the film, The Disaster Artist, which I think was adapted to a movie with Seth Green. Not Seth Green. Seth Roland was in The Disaster Artist, which is an adaptation of the making of The Room.
It's such a tough thing because you want to celebrate it for the reasons you think it's interesting.
Right.
But that might not be what the filmmaker's intentions were, because he probably wanted to make a really good movie.
I think that's with all art, though. You
Yeah.
can only control it until you let the audience see it, and then it's
Sure.
in their hands.
And it is what it is at that point. Yeah.
Same things with like music. You write a song, it's about something, you release it, and everybody thinks it's about, I don't know, look at Taylor Swift. It's about this boyfriend. Well, she never confirmed or denied, but that's what everybody thinks it is.
Or
So
it
that's
just
what
becomes
it's about.
fact because that's what people
Right.
think. Yeah,
Exactly.
I was just looking at the Giant Spider Invasion credit list on IMDb Pro, and this Paul Benson came up, and I was like, God, that name looks familiar. He was in a movie I did years ago here called The Godfather.
Oh my God,
Remake.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, he was the farmer in that, and I just that totally slipped my mind.
Well, and that's the thing. It's a small world when you get to people that have actually done the work and put things out. Like I said, a lot of people might have an idea, but to have the wherewithal to go through and do the work.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize that, generally speaking, a script is 1 page per minute of final work. And, if you're shooting Hollywood style, which a lot of indies aren't, you do 2 to 3 pages a day.
Right. All right, so let's talk. Okay, so tell us when that is again. That's March.
That's March 14th, I believe. That's the
okay.
Friday.
And can people get tickets? Do they go to the
Those
Tarleton,
tickets are
or-
live on the website right
Okay.
now, gbfilmfestival.org.
All right.
We want to pack that place. We want everybody to get a chance to see this. So we're only charging $10 for the event.
And it's cool that Bill will be there because he is just he's kind of iconic. He's in his late 80s now. He was great when he was on the show. Craig Knitt was here helping out with that, and he was still really sharp. Like he knows his stuff and he's talking. All right, so tell us about the rise of Dearmageddon. I've been hearing about this film since I started doing this radio show. I've had Dan on the show. They're kind of evasive when they talk about it. It's like, well, it's this musical and it's high school football. And it's like, I am so eager to see this film.
So I saw it. The cut we're playing is a short. It's 15 minutes.
Okay. Is it a short or is it a feature?
They're making the feature now.
They're making the feature. Okay, got it. That's right. All right.
The short is done, and what we'll be playing, the feature's in process. The thing about the short, it was all shot in Appleton.
Okay.
And just like you said, it's kind of high school football. It's kind of deer hunting. Most of the movie takes place in a bar where, different people are having their conversations. And then all of a sudden it turns into a musical. There's really nothing quite like it. And Craig actually has, I wish I could remember it now because, put a microphone in front of me, I go blank. But Craig Knitt has some of the best lines in that movie.
Singing lines?
No, they were speaking at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, there's nothing quite like that experience in Dearmageddon, which I'm excited to see again in front of an audience.
So that's going to open the event. That's a Friday of your event, and then the Giant Spider Invasion will play after that, and then you'll have a Q&A led by Dan Davies, who is the director behind Dearmageddon. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
and from what I understand, I don't know a whole lot of details, but I know Dan and Bill are working together on more projects.
Okay. That's fantastic.
So hopefully I can get more information out of them there because I can't wait to see what they come up with next.
This is such a great system you guys have, too, because I know you serve food, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people can go in, get some food, chill out. Can they eat during the film, or is that a separate? All right.
Yeah,
that's so
I do
great,
recommend if you would like to eat during the film, come a little bit early because everything is made to order. So I think you'll have to check the website for me, but I'm pretty sure we're doing doors at 5 for a 6 o'clock show. And if
Okay.
that's the case, you want to be there at 5 so you can order, have your food freshly cooked for you. I love the lobster mac and cheese, the Captain Crunch chicken. Everything that Mark makes is fantastic over at the Tarleton.
I would think you'd have venison in honor of the Dearmageddon.
Tarleton actually surprises us with a themed menu for pretty much every event. Like we've done Valentine's Day events.
Wait, is his name Tarleton or
Yes.
Tarl? Oh, his full name is Tarleton?
It's Tarleton.
He's been
He'll
on the
go
show
by
before,
Tarl.
and I loved having him on the show.
Yeah,
I didn't
Tarl
know it was... Okay, I thought it was Tarl. I just want to make sure I was not...
Tarleton is his legal name, but he goes by Tarl.
Okay, that works. So I didn't offend him, is what I'm hearing.
No, not at all.
What are you telling me, Conrad?
2 minutes.
To wardrobe change?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so what a fun night. So, folks, get your tickets. It's the Rise of Dearmageddon. I'm only explaining it how Dan has explained it to me. He's a high school football glory days guy.
Yes.
It sounds like there's a little dose of maybe Escanaba in the Moonlight with the deer hunting or something.
I can see that. Yep.
and Dan is the star of it, as I understand it. And then you got the Giant Spider Invasion. Dan will host the Q&A.
Yeah.
Who hosts the Q&A for Dan? Are you going to hold Dan's feet to the fire?
I probably should.
You should.
I mean, that is my role
Don't
if
hold
we're going to
back.
do a Q&A with him. So I'll...
All right.
I didn't know if he wanted one because he's prepping to work with Bill.
Yeah.
So if he
Might
has
have
the
his hands
time and
full.
if he's willing, I will definitely lead that conversation.
Okay. Fair enough. You've got other films, too. We'll talk about those. Right? You've got Saturday, 6 films.
Yeah, so
all
Friday-
Wisconsin made. So let's get into that. We got to do a very quick break, and then we'll talk about what's happening Saturday at the Green Bay Film Festival, which is just around the corner, folks. Lots of fun stuff happening right here in downtown Green Bay over at the Tarleton Theater. This is Peach Schwaba and Nightlight. We're coming right back with more with Nick Watier on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It was only a kiss, now I'm falling asleep, and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke, and she's taking a drag, now they're going to bed, and my stomach is sick, and it's all in my head, but she's touching his chest, now he takes off her dress, now let me go.
listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Todd Allball Show.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. Believe it or not, it is once again time for Wisconsinites to head to the polls and vote. I know, we all have a bit of election fatigue after 2024, but the spring election primary is coming up on Tuesday, February 18th. One race that will be on every ballot statewide for the spring primary is for state superintendent. Incumbent Jill Underly is seeking another term, and 2 candidates are challenging her. Jeff Wright, superintendent for Sauk Prairie Schools, and Brittany Kinzer, an education consultant and former charter school executive. Kinzer's candidacy, in particular, is gaining steam. Her campaign reported raising more than $500,000, far more than what Underly or Wright have brought in. With that type of financial support, this could prove to be a more competitive race for state superintendent than what we've seen in quite some time. This is becoming a real race to watch.
Green Bay Film Festival, talking independent film and a really fun event coming up next month down at the Tarleton Theater down here in downtown Green Bay. Bridget checks in. She's in the 818. She says, lots of chocolate and time with my sweetie. Those are her Valentine's Day plans. Thank you, Bridget. That sounds like a lovely evening. And again, folks, you can chime in even if you don't have a sweetie. How are you going to spend the day? Make it a you day. You got plans, Nick?
I'm actually
Valentine's?
going to visit our friends at the Door County Film Festival tomorrow.
Oh.
They started tonight.
Yeah, right.
And tomorrow they're having a nice big networking event. I believe it's 4 to 6. And then at 6 o'clock they're playing Green Blah, which I don't know if you've heard that. That is I first heard about them like 7 years ago when they were still in pre-production, but they made a fantastic documentary about the punk rock scene in Green Bay, which is a lot bigger than you ever would have thought.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so Green Blah will be playing at the Door County Film Festival tomorrow night, and I will be there. So if you want to meet me, if you're interested in helping with the film festival,
hello,
we're always
yeah.
looking for volunteers, so come say hi. I'll be there.
That's
if you're
excellent.
online, you know what I look like. So
There he is, right there. He's sitting next to me. That'll be really fun. Yeah, Kurt has been on the show, and Chris Opper, they were on the show a couple weeks ago. That sounds like a really fun.
Yeah, well, and Kurt actually is one of the filmmakers who's doing that amphibious project I
Right.
mentioned. So he's working on that project, and we're helping raise funds. So he was like, hey, can you come say a couple words about amphibious? And so I don't know if I'll be on stage or if I'm just recording something for him, but yeah, Kurt's a great friend.
Hardworking guy.
Great guy.
Absolutely. You know, he was in a movie I made 20 years ago. He was an extra.
Really?
And the last time he was in here, he brought a picture of the two of us on the set. It was the Godfather of Green Bay. Jeez. And he was like 18 years old.
I was going to say, how was he in a film 20 years ago? Isn't he like 18?
In a bar, too. He probably shouldn't even have been there, but he's worked hard ever since. I tip my hat to Kurt, and he's a great guy, too.
Yeah, he
so
is.
I hope they have a great turnout there. All right, so what else was I going to... Oh, Saturday. Saturday after the giant spider invasion on Friday, you'll clean all the spiders out of the theater. You'll have people in, and what's happening on Saturday?
Well, we've got 6 films from Wisconsin filmmakers on Saturday.
Okay.
So this will be a separate ticketed event. Again, for the year, we're doing $10 tickets. So very affordable to come see. Bring a friend.
Wow, that's great.
We want people to experience this. But yeah, like, and Kurt, I'm hoping, is going to be there again for Saturday because we're showing one of his projects from the Furnace, which was they called it the Dollar Baby Project.
The Stephen King.
Yeah,
thing.
Stephen King had released the rights to all of his short stories for $1. You had to apply and be accepted, and they were. But I saw that in its debut down in Oshkosh last year, and just a fantastic piece. Kind of talks human trafficking. There's kind of a theme with Kurt's projects generally, is that they usually have a good story, have a good how do I say it? Not just a story, but like a story to tell, a lesson to learn.
Okay.
And From the Furnace is no exception. You know, talks about family life, talks about the struggles of trying to find your own way, being in bad relationships. It's a really touching piece. And again, I mean, how do you go wrong with Stephen King as a writer?
Stephen King's material. And
right.
I heard they knocked it out of the park, which is even more impressive because you had to buy it for $1. I heard Kurt pocketed 75 cents of that for himself and shot the whole thing for $0.25. So that's what that really blew me away.
I don't know what their actual budget was, but what I saw, that was made on a lot more than $0.25.
Yeah,
that was it's extraordinarily well made.
It's a great community here. I've learned since I've been doing this show, really, I didn't know there was such a strong independent film community in Northeast Wisconsin. You've got the Door County Film Festival, Waiwega, Green Bay. Do you guys all work together? Do you try to differentiate yourselves in some way?
So we have not necessarily partnerships, but relationships with all these festivals.
Okay.
And like Craig, who's you mentioned earlier, Craig Knitt, he ran the Wildwood Film Festival out of Appleton.
Oh, right.
And like his focus was all very much Wisconsin made, about Wisconsin, be a little kooky, be a little crazy, but be about Wisconsin.
Okay.
Right. And he kind of had that focus. And Door County, I think, is a nice cultural mix of works that are coming, a little bit of local, a little bit of distance. What we tried to focus on with the Green Bay Film Festival in our past was really trying to find the cream of the crop, the best of indie, and bring it here to try and build that confidence and find an audience that is willing to pay to go see something that doesn't have Tom Cruise on the poster.
Right.
Right. Like we had focused, and this focus has shifted over the years, but traditionally we had focused on showing the best of the media to our area. And what I'm trying to do now is focus even more on those local artists.
Yeah.
You know, we still want to show great stuff, and our
Sure.
local artists are great, but we want to give a little bit more opportunity for those local artists to show off in our area.
Love it. Well, keep up the great work, Nick, and keep us posted here. I love hearing about what you guys are doing. It's such a unique festival, and I think you guys are doing great stuff. So keep it up and keep us posted.
Thanks, Pete. I appreciate you and your show. You're
Anytime, buddy. It's great to have you. And you have no excuse not to be here because you're right down the street. Like you
Right.
probably didn't even have to park your car, which is always nice, especially with the Green Bay parking. Hey, tomorrow night, folks, on the show, we've got our pal Emerson Lehman will be here from the WBAY Morning Show. Always fun with Emerson, up-and-coming singer-songwriter, Madison-based, I believe, right, Connor? Or maybe Nashville now, but I think she's from Madison.
Yep.
Kaylin Cole will be here, and then Terry Barr will be here, one of the co-hosts of Max Inc. Radio for Bar Band Friday night. Lots of fun tomorrow night on the show, too. I'd like to thank John McGivern and my buddy Nick Wattier here sitting next to me, and thank you for all of your Valentine's Day texts. We'll be back tomorrow night to do it all again. Right, Conrad?
I think so.
We didn't get bad news or anything, did we?
No, we didn't.
Would you tell
We're
me
good.
if we did?
We're good. We're good.
Okay. So come in tomorrow.
I would.
All right. Fantastic. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight. Been a lot of fun, folks. Hope you had a great night, and we will be back on behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad. Good night, Wisconsin.
Found a lady with a fat diamond ring. Then you know I can't remember a damn thing. I think it's one of those deja vu things. Or a dream is trying to tell me something. But will I ever stop thinking about it? I don't know. I doubt it. Subterranean by design. I wonder what I would find if I met you. Let my eyes caress you until I meet the door of Mrs. Princess who often wonder what makes her work. I guess I'll leave that question to the experts. Assuming that there are some out there, they're probably alone, solitaire. I can remember